Right now, a major shakeup on Capitol Hill. A live look tonight where Kevin McCarthy is out as House Speaker.
On this vote, the yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Just like that, McCarthy was voted out of the job. For now, North Carolina Representative Patrick McHenry has been named Speaker pro tem. This all comes just days after McCarthy reached across the aisle to keep the government from shutting down.
The House is now in uncharted territory. This is the first time in U.S. history that a House Speaker has been voted out of office. So right now, there's a lot of uncertainty and a list of questions about exactly what comes next.
We've got live team coverage for you, from reaction from local lawmakers to where the House goes from here.
But we start with KCRA 3's Kaylin Norwood in Washington, D.C. right now with how this historic process unfolded. Kaylin.
Yeah, Ty, Lisa, for the first time in U.S. history, a Speaker of the House forced out of the job. Kevin McCarthy losing the gavel in historic 216 to 210 vote. Now questions on where House Republicans go from here.
The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
A chaotic afternoon in the House as a few hardline Republicans moved to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker.
Chaos is Speaker McCarthy. Chaos is somebody who we cannot trust with their word.
The Speaker fought through 15 votes in January to become Speaker, but was only willing to fight through one failed CR before surrendering to the Democrats on Saturday.
These are the same ones who opposed me before, and so they're turning the floor over to the Democrats.
McCarthy saying earlier in the day he didn't need help from Democrats, and House Democrats saying it's the GOP's responsibility to end their civil war.
We encourage our Republican colleagues who claim to be more traditional to break from the extremists.
The move to oust McCarthy sparked by his decision to work with Democrats over the weekend to avert a shutdown. Republicans sticking with McCarthy, making the case he did the right thing.
Under Speaker McCarthy's leadership, our House Republican majority has actually defied all odds and overperformed expectations again and again and again.
Well, there's no clear GOP successor for this position. You'll remember it took 15 rounds of voting back in January before McCarthy was able to get enough support to actually get that job. Back to you.
Kaylin, when was the last time something like this has happened?
Well, Ty, this is the first time that a speaker has officially been ousted from this position, but a vote has been taken up before. That was 100 years ago with Joseph Cannon, the then Republican House Speaker, but he survived his vote. Back to you.
Kaylin Norwood, thanks for the live report. We're hearing from California lawmakers in response to this unprecedented decision.
That's right. KCRA 3's Lizzie Mitri joining us live from the newsroom. From Democrats to Republicans, what is everyone saying, Lizzie?
Ty, Lisa, Democrats were joined by 8 Republicans in voting to oust Speaker Kevin McCarthy. And both the Democratic and Republican congressmen we talked to today described those lawmakers as extremists. Congressman John Duarte said what's happened today is, quote, ridiculous. Here's what they had to say.
Speaker McCarthy has very solid support from the vast majority of the Republican conference. These are extreme chaos makers, and they're really derailing a lot of good work that Speaker McCarthy has already led us through in this session.
And this really is a signal that we've got to work together. But, I would hope the Republicans reach across the aisle, talk to Leader Jeffries, talk to us, and we've got to find a path forward.
Longtime Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa called today one of the most frustrating and self-destructive days he has seen in Congress. He said in a statement, in part, "I do not see a path forward today that results in lower spending, more freedom for individuals, or more secure border." He said this will likely result in Democrats holding more power, and added that former Speaker McCarthy is a good friend of his who did not deserve to be betrayed this way. Back to you.
All right, Lizzie, thank you. And with McCarthy out, next steps are unclear at this point. point?
Right now, there's no obvious successor to lead the House Republican majority, but we do know who will step in for now. Golston Dart joins us and continues our team coverage. Golston?
Well, the office of the Speaker has been declared vacant, but that doesn't immediately trigger a new Speaker election right now because of a succession list handpicked by Kevin McCarthy himself. So that list is kept secret unless the role is needed to ensure the continuity of government, which was the case today. So North Carolina Representative Patrick McHenry was at the top of McCarthy's list. He will serve as acting Speaker, a largely ceremonial role under House rules. McHenry is serving his 10th term as a representative for North Carolina's 10th congressional district. He goes from the suburbs of Charlotte into western North Carolina counties. He was first elected to Congress back in 2004 when he was just 29 years old. He was most recently reelected in 2022. He got nearly 75% of the vote. McHenry chairs the House Financial Services Committee, and in 2015, he was chosen by then Majority Whip Steve Scalise to be the Chief Deputy Whip. McHenry suggesting that members should meet in their party conferences before deciding on a path forward. An election for a permanent Speaker could be delayed until the House is better prepared. All we know right now, guys, is that House Republicans are set to meet tonight to discuss the path forward.
All right, Golston, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you. We continue to follow the ousting of Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker and the fallout from today's decision on TV and online. Download the KCRA 3 app and enable push alerts to have breaking news sent straight to your phone.